taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and today we're going to take a look at a battle I had in my Thotgor. Now, before we get too far into it, and while the game loads up here as well, I did want to mention I was going to put up a subscriber replay video today, actually. I was taking a look at a replay that Solon had sent me, and a replay that I think Five Finger was the World of Warship name. Unfortunately, there seems to be some sort of issue with the World of Warship replay system at the moment, in that when a ship fires its shells, you don't actually see the tracers. So it just looked a little too wonky while I was recording those, and I just didn't want to get those up, and rather I bring it to the attention of Wargaming, see what they have to say about it. Hopefully it gets fixed and then I can get those videos out. So in lieu of that, I got this, or rather I have this game in my Thotgor, and I wanted to take a look at it for one main reason is I just wanted to do another sort of review on destroyer defense. I know that we've talked about playing defense, playing aggressively and that sort of stuff, but if you recall early on when I first started up the channel, I have a video, it's called DD playing defense. So yeah, I wanted to just sort of do a review on that today in the Thotgor, because as it turns out, this is a perfect battle to take a look at it as well. So what you'll notice is happening here is we are on one of the new maps, and I'm moving down towards the A point, right? The majority of my team as well is also following me down towards this A point. So I think, okay, lots of backup down here. Quickly cap A and then hopefully take B. That was the general plan at this time, and is sort of what I figured the allies that I have with me and my team would do. That we would see that there's so many ships coming down here to A that some would branch off and go towards B. That's the plan anyway. Like I said, now obviously the enemy has their own plans as well, right? So we can see one enemy ship pop up right now, and he is heading towards A. I think no big deal. I mean, we've got a ship capping B right now. We're not even concerned with C, frankly. We're just going to leave C. And I mean, I have 15-kilometer torpedoes on this Thotgor. I don't have them upgraded to the 20 kilometers as of yet. But right now, 15-kilometer torpedo range, so that's not too bad. I mean, that's still pretty phenomenal if you ask me. So immediately I start lining up on the one enemy ship that I see. Again, thinking that the plans we have in place are all fine and good. There's another enemy ship, so okay, that guy popped up. Here comes some torpedoes, so obviously there's, maybe their destroyers down here as well, or maybe a cruiser got some torps off. And there's another enemy ship, so okay, and then you can see more on the minimap, and everyone seems to be heading towards A. Alright, okay, so this is where, all the plans that we made at the beginning, this is where all of that gets thrown out of the window, and suddenly you have to come up with a new strategy. So what I'm going to be doing here, and what I wanted to do, was I wanted to cap A and then move to a different cap. But it didn't actually end up like that for me, unfortunately. Well, not necessarily unfortunately. What I end up doing is defending A the entire time while this match is going on, and my allies will end up fighting it out over some of the other cap points. So that is why this video takes an excellent look at destroyer defense here. So you can see right away, I mean, yeah, there are a number of enemy ships out here by A. The majority of their team, in fact, are over here. I can't see all of them, but I do see more on the minimap. You can see what other enemy ships are remaining. One is heading towards C, and B is coming under some pressure as well. So like I said, I'm going to stay in A for right now, dodge some more torpedoes as well, and start lining up my torpedoes on enemy ships as they come around this island. I really wanted to ambush people around this island. I figured it would be fairly easy to do, to get some nice torpedo hits in there. Obviously my torpedoes are still reloading. Now on my Thotgor I do not have the captain. No, the captain is... No, the captain is not fully upgraded. Sorry, it took me a while to think of that. No, so the captain is not fully upgraded, and in addition to that, I do not have the torpedo module upgrade. It costs 3 million. I'm almost there. Just probably tonight I'll have it. But for now I don't. So right now, my reload on these torpedoes is over a minute, and I need to take this into consideration while I'm playing this defense. So here comes some enemy ships. Now I want to line up on this guy because he's coming around. He's going to be coming, you know, just past this little headland here of the island, and I want him to come out and hit my torpedoes and not have much time to be able to avoid them. So that's the thought with that spread right there. I've got the 2 spreads because I only have 2 torpedo launchers on this Kagero, 4 torpedoes each, but because I only have the 2, I need to cycle between one and the other. I don't necessarily like shooting both off at the same time. There are certain situations when you definitely, go ahead and do it because it's going to be awesome. But if I'm just taking pot shots off like this, if you will, I'm going to be cycling between my torpedo launchers just to make sure that I'm never faced with a maximum time of reload in case I really need some torpedoes. So I'm kind of lining up. I mean, I don't have torpedoes right now, but kind of getting myself into a position where maybe I could spot more of the enemy ships while staying behind some cover. I do have this enemy Thotgor that pops up. Keep in mind as well that I do have torpedoes in the water, right? So there's 2 hits with that first spread that I sent out, and I still have a second spread on the way. So excellent, I managed to hit some people, do some damage. Just need to right now be aware of this Thotgor over there and really try to get out of this situation. So you'll notice I have slowed down, pop my smoke, and I'm just turning around. I get another 2 torpedo hits from the second torpedo spread that hit a separate boat, so I didn't hit the same, or say a separate ship, so I didn't hit the same ship in both spreads, so I didn't actually kill anyone. But I managed to do a bunch of damage, because torpedo damage is really the worst. We all know it is. So we've got some more enemy ships now starting to put some pressure on A. So I think, okay, I've got 1 torpedo launcher reloaded. You can see the value of you know, cycling through your torpedoes launchers like this, in that I was able to fire 1 off, quickly maneuver away, and now I'm grouping back up with the allies that I have remaining down here at A. I'm going to let these guys take some of the pressure off of me, because obviously I can't continue to receive hits like this. I am only a destroyer. Unfortunately, the enemy ship that I had fired those torpedoes off was able to avoid them, so that kind of sucks. I do have another spread ready to go. However, I need to be aware of the allies around me, because I'm not willing to torpedo any of my allies. That would just be a facepalm moment. So you can notice that my allied cruiser there, he has launched his torpedoes, and they look pretty good. The first spread wasn't going to hit the enemy ship over there. The second spread almost hit the enemy ship, but he was able just to avoid those. I mean, the maneuverability of this guy, or well, the maneuver skills, evasive maneuver skills, I don't know what to call it, of that enemy ship over there, and just avoiding those torpedoes, it really was something. Get a nice hit on the enemy destroyer off in the distance. I figure at this point I'm seen anyway, so why not take some shots off at that enemy destroyer and try to get a bit of damage in on him. Not too concerned with the enemy battleship that is off there in the channel right now, and you'll see in terms of my defense that I've had to push back. I just can't stay up here, and that's something you really want to keep in mind when you're playing the defense as a destroyer. You do not want to I mean, obviously you're going to want to hold an area, right? I wanted to hold A, but I can't stay in A and still stay alive. And if I'm dead, I'm not even going to be able to do anything in terms of defense at all. So obviously I had to get out of A, and that's something I would recommend you guys do as well and be aware of. You know, we talked about it before, but set yourself a limit as to how much damage you're willing to take, or how many risks you're willing to take. Once you reach that limit, then you must get out. This is going to save you, because you really don't want to die, especially when you are in a destroyer. You are a critical component of the battle here, and you want to do as much as you possibly can to stay alive and to do damage to the enemy ships. You don't even necessarily have to kill ships. We've talked about that before as well. It's not about getting kills. It's about doing damage to the enemy ships, right? That's what you have to do. So I'm circling back around. You can see I do have the support now of one of my allied battleships. So there are still quite a few enemy ships out here over on the other side of A, but I figure that, you know, I've broken line of sight. They can't see me anymore. I've got a bit of room to maneuver and to get closer on these guys, so that maybe I can start capping A, and even better, I can start launching off more torpedoes at these enemies to get these guys gone, because I, you know, just don't want these people down here. Makes your whole day bad. So more enemy ships pop up, and you can see again, I mean, the enemies are still down here at the A point. In terms of the overall battle, we did manage to take the C point, we've lost the B point, and we are of course fighting it out over A. I get a nice torpedo hit on an enemy ship off in the distance, so that spread that I shot off a while back, mind you, wasn't a complete loss. At least I hit something with those torpedoes, so that is fantastic. More damage done for me. More torpedoes are on their way out for those enemy ships. If they all just keep going in a straight line, just trying to strafe down towards the south right, it would have been so much easier to actually get hits on these people and really do a whole bunch of damage and disrupt their lines. But you can tell that they obviously know that there's a destroyer around. They've taken shots off at me, right? Look at my health. So they know enough to maneuver. Now, while that is unfortunate for me and the game I'm playing right now, as a positive for the community, this was wonderful to see, in fact, because you just don't have, window lickers driving in a straight line, for example. The enemies I have over here at A, they were taking evasive maneuvers. And keep in mind, at the end of the day as well, you can only evade so much, right? If you continuously have torpedoes coming down range, and I'm getting lucky with some of these hits as well, hitting ships that I wasn't even aiming for. So if I can continue to do this, then I can push these guys out of this A cap zone. And more or less, it's myself and I would argue maybe just one of the battleships to the south. I don't know if the other cruiser, how much that guy is doing, but I would argue that it's, two ships down here in, well, no, screw it, we'll say 3 ships. We'll give everyone credit. I would argue that, it's just the 3 ships of us down here holding off that entire enemy force, and we are doing it very, very well. The majority of the success to this, though, is the fact that there's a destroyer, me, in the mix here, keeping these guys at bay. Because my torpedo range is so long as well, I can really keep these guys at bay, and that's why I love playing a defensive role in my Japanese destroyers, because that the range of your torpedoes does favor, it can favor offensive and defensive, but it does favor defensive as well. And the fact that it favors defensive means that you can fire off your torpedoes at near to almost max range, or a 10-kilometer range away, and keep the enemies at that distance the majority of the time, giving you lots of room to maneuver around, and the allies that you have with you, giving them lots of opportunity to take shots off at those enemy vessels. So I did briefly touch the Thotgor, the friendly Thotgor there. Sorry, buddy. But oh well, everything seems fine. Neither one of us took any incoming fire from that, so that's great. So again, lining up my torpedoes on the enemies that are remaining. You'll notice that we now have all 3 cap points, yes. So credit to the team as well here, right? Obviously the people who capped the people who capped C and B, they deserve a lot of credit for this as well, because if they weren't out there taking those points, the whole defense down here at A would have been completely and utterly useless. Because what is the point of defending one cap zone if you've lost the other 2? It's just a meat grinder at that point, and you'll just all end up dying. So, credit where credit is due. The team helped with this defense as well. But hopefully as well, you can see here just the value of playing the defensive role in a Japanese destroyer, especially these higher tier Japanese destroyers, where you start getting 10-kilometer torpedoes, 15-kilometer torpedoes, 20-kilometer torpedoes. Yes, it really becomes sort of their strong suit, and it's really fun to play for me anyway. You'll notice as well that in terms of the defense, there's really not too much to defend against now, right? It's really switched over to more of an offensive operation, and that's what you can do very easily as well when you are playing these defenses. Is being able to switch over to the offense very easily is key to continue the push and really drive it home, because it's not enough. Well, sometimes it's enough to chase the enemy out. Other times, it's not going to be enough to chase the enemies out. You might chase them out of the point, that's great, but what if they no longer continue to put pressure on that point? Then you're just sitting there defending against nothing, right? So you got to be able to switch to the offense and go and take another point, or in this case, just help finish off these enemy ships. You'll notice it's an Izumo here in front of me. This guy can do just some massive damage to my allied ship, so I have every intention of trying to get this guy gone. What I am struggling with is this crazy captain is going in reverse, and then he'll go forward, and to be fair, I call him crazy just because I haven't seen it very often. But to be fair to the player, this was very effective for him, because you can see he is missing all of my incoming torpedoes, and the allied ships that I have with me are having a hard time actually ranging in on him. So it's something to see. Now, in terms of what the other enemy ships are doing, I don't exactly know. In this game, it was almost like the enemy ships just sort of ran away. We can only really see 4 of them on the minimap. The destroyer, I don't know where this destroyer is on the enemy team, obviously. Maybe just hiding, I'm not sure. But our team has managed to pull this off, and the defense that we managed to have at A went really well as well. You'll see, again, hopefully the value of shooting off your torpedoes at longer ranges when you're in these Japanese destroyers, and not staying too dedicated to your original defensive position. You need to know when to fall back, obviously. If enemy ships, and if you're in a destroyer and enemy ships have started to spot you, especially if you're in a Japanese destroyer and enemy ships have started to spot you, you need to get out of there. You do not want to be seen. It's, just critical. So battle is over, victory is ours, and you can see that even though I have not gotten any kills in this game, I still did very well indeed, just in terms of what I was able to do in the battle. I was able to, take defend points, cap points, and do a bunch of damage with some torpedoes. I only got 5 torpedo hits though, so it only results in, I think it was maybe 64,000 damage. I'm not 100% sure, but still, good results overall, and I was quite pleased with the game. So there is definitely value in playing the defense. You don't need to be on the offense to be top of the team and to get all of those magical experience and credit points. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for watching today's video through. As always, leave any comments you may have for me down there in the comment section below. I love reading those and responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you enjoyed today's video, and hit subscribe if you are not a subscriber. As always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.